You're nobody gonna tell me I'm late today, buddy. In fact, I'm early. Hey, y'all. It's March the 11th, 2024. And we're going to have a short broadcast tonight, probably, I would imagine. I don't know what all we're going to get into. All right. But if we happen to find somebody on the internet just roaming around, we're going to take advantage of them. I'll have you know that. I don't know what the internet has in store for us tonight. I don't know if I've really been paying attention. So it's a free for all, if you will. A little bit of a free for all until we find ourselves a victim. And hopefully we will. All right. But before we get into the free for all, you guys, I want to offend everybody. And first of all, I was just having a conversation earlier today at my place of employment, with some coworkers. And I don't know how the conversation got here, but it did. And I'll blame myself. But during the conversation, it's dawning on me again, just like it was last night, just like it was before. There is no benefit. The benefit that is gained from being normal and laying low and keeping your head down is almost non-existent. Right? People catching hell out there for that kind of stuff. Right? And they're certainly not making it by continuing to be average like myself. Certainly not making it. So what's the point? There's guys out there who's trying their best, their darndest to be average. They're not going to get anywhere to include with ladies. And I got to admit, a lot of the things that I say, these concepts that I want to discuss with y'all on the internet, are too much. It's too much for most people, and this includes men out there. As I talk to them a lot. Most men out there, God bless them. I don't have anything against them. Most men out there, if you even know what it means to be blue pilled or red pilled in considerations for male female dynamics, most men are obviously and quite absurdly blue pilled. And so if you're blue pilled at all for any reason, you're going to look at me like I'm being ridiculous. You're going to look at me like I'm ridiculous. However, I'm just saying what's always been true since the beginning of time, probably. All right, but it's only more obvious these days. For example, we're going to talk in great detail about it, all right, because later on down the line, it's going to be inevitable, right? Society is going to go through a shift, whether we like it or not. It's actually going to go more old school and more primal urges than we've ever even known, right? Last night, I was talking about my daughter. Shout out to whoever's in the room. I don't know how many people caught it because it was at the end. It was at the end of the broadcast. I mentioned it, and I've been talking about it. Raising daughters, because most daughters in America, the majority, they don't have no fathers. All right, we're way down the rabbit hole. More than half of women out there don't have no fathers. Right, and that might be exaggerating, but it's not by much. A lot of these women who have fathers, their fathers ain't shit. They can't. Their fathers don't run anything. Like their fathers might run stuff in their own life, but certainly not in their daughter's life. And it's a damn shame. All right. So I had mentioned, I want to be clear about it. Not that I'm going to change anybody's mind. I'm not going to change anybody's mind. If someone is blue pilled and they want to have fantasies about male women dynamics, they could do so. I'm not going to change their mind. But I do want to put it out there for people to consider, to even consider, right? Because the majority of women are totally ruining their lives right now, and they don't even know it. They're actually not facing too many consequences, not yet, right? However, we're setting records for however many cat ladies, old cat ladies, who are running around all roughshod, running around all crazy. They don't have nobody to like rein them in because somehow or another, all their loved ones are avoiding them like the plague. These old single cat lady, and just because you got cats and you're an old lady or an older lady doesn't mean you're crazy. So, but most of these ladies crazy out there. Most of these old ladies crazy. You can't blame them. Almost, you almost can't blame them because their whole lives have been squandered by not having any direction as women. I'm kind of going off into the weeds, but I want to say this: being the father of a daughter, pretty crucial. And as I said, a lot of the fathers who I'm aware of are dropping the ball for sure, and they have no idea what their goal is as a father. All right, and to each their own. They can do whatever they want to, but I understand what my goal is as a father of a daughter is to encourage her to have children, to be married. I mean, there's going to be exceptions to the rule, but what, 95, 97, 98% of women would be a lot happier. The ones who don't have children would be a lot happier had they had children, but they don't know how to do it. See, relationships are very, very, I don't know what you say, very fragile and explosive these days. So I was talking about my daughter, right? Hypothetically, I'm not talking about her in real life because I don't really see her, but I'm talking about a daughter in general. I might mention, and like I said, every blue pill father out there, he's going to think I'm a misogynist. He's going to think I hate women. He's going to think that I'm crazy. He's going to think that I'm like just a serial Hitler out there. I want to get your daughters married. It's always been the case. I mean, read the Bible. There's stories about fathers want to get their daughters married. Why? Because a father knows good and well his daughter is going to be happier married than out there just floundering around. That's why. And back in the day, nobody would take care of your daughter. There wasn't the government to scoop her up and start giving her welfare all day. There wasn't that. So as a father, he had to make sure that his daughter was taken care of. And he also wanted to make sure that he wasn't the one taking care of her whole life because she can't leave the house. So it was always in the father's best interest to preserve his daughter's value. Some would call it purity. Yeah, that's always been the case. And guys walk around these days and pretend like that hasn't always been the case. It's only very modern and very, very recent that fathers have literally zero to do with their daughter's life and how her life ends up. All right. Just like I said, I mean, it might seem all old and antiquated, but every story that you hear back in the day has the father trying to get the daughter married, and that was for a reason. So some people might get confused when I say that her hypothetical husband, first of all, we would hunt him down out of the country club. We would scope him out. He would have to be the best. We're going to scope out the whole country club and look for the best. We're going to hunt you down. Right? And you ain't gonna have a chance, dude. You're gonna stand a chance because I'm gonna hypothetically trade my daughter to where you don't know what hit you. You don't know what hit you. All right. And so hypothetically, it wouldn't take very long for this man to want to marry my daughter, especially as I mentioned last night, that I guarantee my daughter will never ever leave you, and that's a guarantee. If she ever did, if she ever had the thought come up in her mind and crop up in her mind, like, oh, she's gonna leave you and she's gonna divorce you, hell no, she ain't. All right. And she could do whatever she wants legally, but however, I would disown her in a snap. It would be instantaneous disowning by you. If you think, and I'm talking to my daughter, if my daughter were to think that she's going to divorce her husband, I mean, there's definitely going to be exceptions to the rule. If he's going around stabbing everybody with knives, then yeah, you don't want to be with the guy. That's an extreme that It's like not even worth mentioning. What is worth mentioning is she's going to have a high caliber man, hypothetically, if that's what we strategized for. All right. And so he's going to be high caliber. And today it's bad. And 2024 is real bad. If you're an average man out there, you ain't hardly, you're getting played up and down. If you're even getting attention from a lady. Even high value, so-called high value men get played by ladies. I mean, ladies are very cunning, but she would never leave him. And the most common reason, a high value man, that she would leave him. What do you think? Who's ever in the building? What do you think? Typically, oh, I caught him cheating. Oh, he went out and I know he cheated on me. So normally that becomes a whole situation in which a large percentage of women gonna go ahead and take half of what you got. And they're gonna do anything to take your children from you and keep them away from you as much as possible. And a lot of people would hate on ladies for that. I can see what you mean, but by nature, women are evil. And it's quite interesting to because all the women who I've met and known, they've lived long enough and they have enough wisdom to agree women in general are evil and they know it. They know it about themselves. And there's nothing bad about that. I'm just saying that's their nature. Long story short, I can't blame ladies for being evil. It's something of a survival mechanism. All right. So, like, for example, ladies, they will ruin your life. They will take more than half your stuff. They will take your children from you. Um, but that's okay. So the government is enabling them to do just that to you, and encouraging them to do it at the drop of a hat. So how much can you blame ladies in this scenario? I mean, if the laws were telling me to screw everybody over, and I was just fine by doing that, I might even think about doing that. If the law was outwardly telling me I can extort people for money and hide their children from them, part of me would think, wow, I got superhuman powers and I can do whatever I want on earth. Right? Right. But see, at, at the end of the day, at the end of the life, if you will, these women who are going around divorcing their high value husbands, going around, running around all over town, it doesn't end well for them. There's no satisfaction at the end for them. There just isn't. And they think their whole lives that they're getting over on people, and they're just able to do whatever they want to anyone they want with no consequences. But it's still not a happy ending for them. And that's what's wild. So when I bring up, okay, like if he messed around and you found it and he ran around, and you found out about it, big deal. But why don't you stop snooping around so much? Right? Do you have a mansion over your head? Do you have food every day coming in just for you don't even have to work because you got a man who makes so much money, right? All you got to do is take care of children, which is what women were designed to do. It's like, okay, and you just want to squander all that. It doesn't matter that that man right there you're talking about has enabled you to live such a lifestyle. None of that matters. You can destroy him. Oh, he ran around with some random lady. Okay, real briefly, the way it's trending, the way I would assume it to go, the way I'm going to guess and predict, I'll put my bet down. I'll put all sort of money down. The majority of women are chasing after a minority of men. That minority of men is growing smaller and smaller as every day goes by. Now, not all the women can get with that minority of men. So after a while, some of the ladies get so old or used up that they're like, man, I'm gonna settle. I'm gonna go ahead and settle. So they do settle for some man, but they're not really attracted to that man. They know how to pretend. They know how to make it look like they're attracted to you. They're not. And they're gonna disrespect you all day too, because they're truly not attracted to you, but they do want someone by them because they get all lonely. And so they'll get you as a boyfriend and they'll trick you into doing it. And they're very cunning. They'll have you as a boyfriend, But just as soon as one of those high caliber men, just as soon as one of them looks at her way, she's gone, buddy. That's how it goes. You were a placeholder. You aren't shit. She's not really attracted to you. And there's so many ways that you could tell that she's not attracted to you. And the reason I'm saying that is because I've lived that life. All right, say what you will about me. I've experienced it firsthand. She's not attracted to you. So, so hypothetically, if you have a daughter and she's married to a very high caliber man, he's going to be in that minority of men in which you got 20 women to every man, 20, 30 women to every man, chasing after him like he's water in the desert. All right. So out of those 20, 30 women that are just trying to hound this man all day, your husband, hypothetically, he slips up and he takes care of one of them right quick. And that's going to end everything for you. Wow. And I've heard the most bizarre crap come out of women's mouth. And I've heard the same crap come out of men's mouth. They don't even know that they're using women's words. All right. For example, and I don't doubt that this has happened. I'm sure it's happened a lot, right? So imagine that there's a wife. She finds out that her husband went and messed around a little bit, right? There's a scenario like, for example, if you ever seen Goodfellas, right? That one and that one scene in Goodfellas and that little part of Goodfellas in which I forget what his name is, Harry. Harry has a girlfriend. And Harry has a big problem, dude. Like Harry as a character in a movie is one of the most hated. I personally disdain Harry from Goodfellas. Oh, he was so cool. Yeah, for a time he was so cool. In Goodfellas, if you watch it, for a time Harry is so cool, but at towards the end, Harry can't follow directions for shit. Harry's gone off cocaine. Harry's over there trying to make like some girlfriend his wife. He's over at her apartment all day getting high on cocaine. That's shameful. That's absolutely preposterous. And you'll notice that in the movie, his mafia elders come up to him and say, "Look, you don't understand. You have to go home. It's not, we're not asking you. You need to go home now." And it's because they had some sort of sense. If you're dealing with a real man, I'm just going to put it out there. I might be wrong, but I think I'm right. If you're dealing with a real man, not like Harry from Goodfellas, if you're dealing with a real man, he might accidentally go and smash some young 19-year-old vixen. He might do that. It's a 0% chance he's leaving you for that young girl. And I hear that all the time. They say, well, oh, he can't cheat because he might want to leave me for that younger girl. You had if that's the case, you didn't have much of a man to begin with. All right. A real man would never ever think, that doesn't cross his mind because his priorities are not so mixed up. All right. I mean, if you put yourself in any random generic man, let's say he's a real man, he's got stuff going for him, he's like physically built, he's got all this money, women are chasing after him. This guy knows full well how much effort and energy and how much chaos he's going to bring into his own life by divorcing you. He'll never do it. He'll never ever do it. Oh, he might smash some girl here, smash some girl there. He ain't leaving you. It's a 0% chance, right? And in this hypothetical, there's a 0% chance of this man leaving you. And also, you got this roof over your head. You got a car you drive. You got food and everything. And you get to live the American dream. And that's just not good enough. How's that not good enough? How's that not good enough? And some people out there who don't understand the concepts, they would say, well, so by that measure, then your daughter, she can run around, right? Because she's not going to leave. No, actually, it's the exact opposite. Women and men are the exact opposite, dude. And you can tell it's a blue pill man because he'll never ever admit to it. Men and women are the exact opposite. Speaking about 95% of women, the greatest majority of women, if she cheated on you, if she ran around on you, in her mind, in her soul, in her heart, she's already broken up with you. You're done. And men would say, oh, that's some sort of double standard. Hey, that's reality. That's the way God made us. If a woman ever got the nerve enough to run around on you, you've been done in her mind. She's stringing you along, buddy. She's cunning, by the way. I don't know if you figured that out, but that's what I mean. It just wouldn't work the same way. Just wouldn't work. And you got the majority of society so mixed up that not only would they not understand what I'm saying right now, I know for a fact most of these blue pill men out there, they'll get emotional and they will get violent and they won't be able to talk to you. Right? Why? Because deep in their soul, they know you're exactly correct and they know that's the trap that they cannot get out of and they will not get out of it. They got to repent. Not a lot of people do that. So we're going to get up out of here tonight before too long. We're not going to have a long broadcast. I don't know who's up in the building. Could be a robot. All I know. But before we get up out of here, there's certainly like headlines, pretty interesting headlines we could read. I don't have any idea about the headlines from today. But I can say, before we cover, it goes without saying, war, chaos, calamity, Ukraine, Israel, all these other places we don't know about. Yeah, well, building up to World War III, yeah, for sure. We're in World War III. Sometimes my brothers will ask me, are you prepared for World War III? Can't prepare for World War III. We're in it. So you're just preparing for your day as you're in World War III. Okay. State of the Union was quite bizarre, as I mentioned earlier. I'm sure you found it quite bizarre as well. And quite simply, it's very boring, right? Joe Biden was about to fall asleep. And that was what's bizarre. It's like, this man can't control the volume of his voice. They got him on all sort of methamphetamines or something. They hit him up with the Lazarus drug, and it's viral on the internet. Everybody's talking about the Lazarus drug. We know you pumped him full of Lazarus drug, dude. It's kind of obvious. This fool was yelling at everybody like a grumpy old man, trying to tell him to get off his lawn. And he's going back and forth from yelling and whispering, dude. All right, but everybody knows. As everybody knows, the highlight of the night, quite obviously, I don't even have to say, you already know what I'm talking about. You already know what I'm talking about. Marjorie Taylor Greene. Ah, hell yeah. Shout out to her. A lot of people would call me a misogynist. And I say women shouldn't have the right to vote and so on and so forth. But I'm not ragging on Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's putting it down. All right. Reality is reality. She had Joe Biden's number last night. She put on a clinic, dude. She wrote out the blueprint. You want to F up Joe Biden's day? This is exactly how you do it step by step. All right, so it's always hard to understand what Joe Biden's saying. The methamphetamines, it makes him talk faster and stuff, but he doesn't get all the syllables out. Marjorie Taylor Greene got and I don't know if she's even green anymore because she got divorced, which whatever, that's her own deal. I don't know. But she got old Joe flustered while he was on the podium. Joe Biden mispronounces Laken Raleigh's name like only Joe Biden would definitely do every time. Of course he did, because he's disrespectful. See, these are demons. It's not hard to say Laken, even though it's a name I never heard of. When it's so significant, it's not hard to read two syllables. That's what I'm talking. Joe Biden isn't stupid. I mean, he's full of dementia and everything, but the demons themselves, you want to prove a demons? They'll cause you to not even be able to say the name Lincoln. Why? Because if you say Lincoln, that's total disrespect. And the demon wants you to disrespect everybody. That's how it works. The demon is what causes Joe Biden to challenge random guys to push-up contests and to call them fat in public. It's a demon. Of course, Joe Biden doesn't want to do that. He can't help himself. So not only he mispronounces her name, but then he says Oh, she was killed by an illegal. And that's bad. I mean, that right there is an abomination to the Democratic Party. And certainly after when he said that, certainly they did refute him or whatever. He goes on to say, yeah, don't you know thousands of people been killed by illegals? If you go back and listen to what he said, I don't know how else to make sense of what he said. Except to say that he's like, oh yeah, Lincoln Riley killed by an illegal. So what? There's thousands of people killed by illegals. So we're like way, way, way down into the twilight zone at this point. All right, but just to do it, Donald Trump he has to do this. You have to make a campaign video in which Joe Biden says Lincoln Riley was killed by an illegal. Yeah, thousands of people killed by illegals. Wow. And so that might be the highlight of the next few days. But let's check out some headlines before we get up out of here. See what the heck might be going on. We're on Revolver.news. First headline says this. Shout out to Revolver, by the way. And I forget who's the guy who runs it. The big guy who runs it. Doing a great job, especially for the January Sixers. Dang it, can I say that on YouTube? I don't know if I can say that on YouTube, but another inept racist DEI bigwig gets shot down in a blaze of conservative glory. I'm not exactly going to read that article because DEI, if you even know what that means, the great majority of Americans have never heard of it and have no idea what it means. DEI is incredibly racist, and that's what it was designed to be. I don't know what else to say about that. Tucker, this is from Tucker Carlson. That was possibly the darkest and most un-American speech ever given by an American president. And it was really bad. I only caught the end of it, and that was really bad. But I'm told that the first 15, 20 minutes were basically like a campaign speech, like if you're on a campaign rally. And that's highly inappropriate. And it doesn't matter because we're past the twilight zone. People are in a cult and they are losing it, and they do think you did an amazing job for the State of the Union, and nothing at all will ever convince them otherwise. And they're all over the place, and I don't know what we're going to do with these folks. All right. However, these folks may or may not have been poisoned already, not by me, but it's only a matter of time. All these people are going to have to deal with being poisoned. Feds weaponize secret web portal to locate MAGA purchases. All right, so the headline, Feds weaponize secret web portal to locate MAGA purchases. If you were objective and you were reading that and you didn't have a dog in the fight, you would say, that seems like a piece of, if that's true, well, then that seems like evidence that you're being plotted on. Like if you're a MAGA American, if you like America and you live in America, then you're personally being plotted on by the feds who are taking down all that information. It's like that would be another hint that these people. See, here's the thing. It depends on how far you're willing to go. So you could look at all the shenanigans of, say, the Democratic Party or the government in general and say they want to screw us as hard as possible, more and more every day, a little bit more, so that they can maximize their screwing of us. And I guess it's been that way for like decades, right? And so now we're almost at fully screwed proportions, and they're not doing it on accident. So all these new things that pop up, it's more and more evidence. So some people would say, oh man, they're trying to weaponize and they're trying to use these web portals and they're trying to take down all your information. Why? Because they want to control you. Yeah. So yeah, they want to control you technically, but that's if they don't murder you. They want to murder you. I don't know how plainly obvious they could make it. And so that's the thing. It's like, for decades and decades now, Americans have been like living their lives and they weren't exactly sure. Most of them had no idea that the people who run your society, they for sure, without a doubt, there's no doubt in my mind, want you dead. And if they could do very bad things to you before and after you die, they would. It's bad. It's bad. There's no getting out of like that's why the end of the world is like, okay, let's stop it from being the end of the world. Okay, but we have to acknowledge that these people don't they don't make it they don't make it ambiguous that they want to kill us. And so every single day, as if it wasn't more obvious, it's made more and more obvious. And what do you make of that? The left has to replace Biden. Here's why they can't, is a headline. I don't even want to read any of these articles, right? Usually the articles, they bring me in all saying this bunch of chaos. I know, yeah, chaos, for sure. So that was Revolver .news. It's just saying all sort of like things that'll make you feel uneasy, basically. Very, very uneasy things. Here's maybe one on the lighter side. Fannie Willis. Have you heard of this Fannie Willis? She gets a double dose of brutal re-election news. Silly Fannie Willis. Most Americans have no idea who Fannie Willis is. Most Americans, I would say half Americans, don't really know who Kamala Harris is. This is wild. It's the times we're living in. All right. So we're gonna start to wind it down. I don't know about y'all, but it's getting late here, a little bit late, and also I want to wake up early in the morning. Why? Because I got work to do. Freaking work. And the thing is, I love it. That's what I figured out about myself. Is that what am I? 38? Sometimes I don't remember. Am I 37? I think I'm 37. I'm gonna really have to do the math after this video, but I've realized something about myself. What the hell was I talking about? Oh no. Oh yeah, this. I've realized that I don't mind hard work, and I don't mind manual work, and I don't mind work in general. I love it. So it's interesting to note about myself is that if I had to work and do the same exact work that I'm doing right now for every day until like every day, no days off, that wouldn't really bother me that much. That wouldn't really bother me, to be honest. I know it bothers a lot of people. A lot of people hate their lives, and a lot of people they'll go to work and they'll be driving to work thinking about how much they hate what they're about to do right now. I gotta say, fortunately, I've been blessed plenty of times in my life. Like, for example, I don't have to do something I hate. So that's a blessing. I can sleep very well. I know a lot of people who can't sleep very well. So that's a blessing. And even my curses are blessings. Right? I don't understand all the ways in which God is trying to prepare me for something. I don't know. But what does irk me, and I think it's what truly irks people, and they don't really understand it, but they do understand it. But they do understand it. If they weren't under this pressure, I don't think they would even hate their job so much. What does irk me, obviously, and it was quite obvious, is I get taxed before I even get my paycheck. And this has been explained over and over and over and over. Anybody with a brain understands this. You get taxed before you get your paycheck. Oh, okay. If I want to spend any of the money that I get, yeah, you tax a whole bunch of it already. If I want to spend any of that, You're gonna tax me on that too. Wow. Wow. And then and then if I happen to buy stuff and it's like big stuff and I happen to buy it with what little money I have after you tax me 2 times, you taxed me 2 times already. And then when it's time to file my taxes, now you're gonna tax me a third time on it. Now you're gonna tax me a third. If for the people who do understand, this is what's happening. The taxes take out well over half your check. Well, because people get confused. They'll say, "No, they're only taking out 20, 20, 30%." No, add it all up. Add it all up. Over half your check. So I'm working every day and stuff. I don't even mind it, but you're taking half my check. And at the end of the day, oh, I work every day. I can work every day and everything, but I'm not gonna see extra money. I'm not gonna see no extra money. How many men you think out there are willing to do that still? There's fewer and fewer. And I think myself included, it's like, dude, what do I have to show for this? Oh, what benefit is there of me to not wow out, buddy, like I'm Nick Cannon? I don't have an answer for that. I don't have an answer for that. And not only that, they take over half of our money, right? They send it over to Ukraine, even though we're begging them to stop, and they're laughing in our faces while they do it. Sending it any which way. We got these millennials, these Generation Z's, and they're freaking losing it. Why? Because they don't even have the opportunities that these boomers had. These boomers were so rich with opportunities that these millennials and Z's, they can get a job. Yeah, they've been trained to not even know how to do a job. But if they were to get a job, they can't even pay their bills. They can't buy no house. They can't live no life like that. There's no benefit to this. What I'm trying to say is like, and I think a lot of people are going to figure out there's really no benefit to it. So Oscars start late. This is a headline. Oscars start late due to Palestine protests. Dude, it's like we could, if we wanted to, just stop on one headline and just talk about it for an hour. And there's all these headlines, and they all say the same thing over and over again. So, real briefly, as we're getting up out of here, I will mention the obvious. The Oscars, y'all have so much money. Y'all are so hoity toity that y'all would put up a fence if you wanted to. I don't give a damn. Y'all would do all sort of things to make sure that your little show went as to plan. You want us to sit up here and think that you're so fucking weak that you're gonna let Palestine protesters mess up your night. No, you're not. You did it on purpose. Y'all are some fucking faggots, dude. Y'all over here just like playing theatrics. Oh, these Palestine protesters wouldn't let it get us our homosexual show going instead. We had to get it late instead. Nobody cares, dude. Nobody's watching that. Stars were forced to walk. Oh, that's terrible. Celebrities were forced to walk because of the Palestine protests. Like, dude, that's like, I don't know how much further I can go. All right. Reading headlines. I'm going to read two more headlines, right, at random, and they better be good. So I don't have no time nor no patience for these ridiculous homosexual headlines. It says, and shout out to all the homosexuals out there, but proliferating news sites spew AI generated fake stories. So we're for sure in a time, a lot of people don't know this, where any AI robot can make up a story, put it out there. Your dumb, stupid ass gonna read it. I'm talking about dumb people. Most people are dumb and they're gonna read it and be like, this is real true facts. And it's like, dude, it's a robot writing it. And they don't give a damn about what you say. There's no repercussions for lying and using robots. So, okay, what's a really good one? What looking at all these headlines and none of them are good at all. Like, not even good because I don't expect them to be good, but they're just not even worth reading out loud. Okay. So I don't know. I don't know which one to pick, but I'll just pick this one. It says Trump which would be Donald Trump. He just defamed he may have defamed E. Jean Carroll, which, by the way, most Americans have never ever heard her name. Don't know who that is. Trump may have defamed E. Jean Carroll again one day after posting a $91.6 million bond for his last case. To most people, that's gibberish and it doesn't mean anything. E. Jean Carroll is a documented, we've seen it plainly with our eyes, and people have been paid attention. E. Jean Carroll is beyond insane. She's out of this world. She'll go on to CNN with Anderson Cooper and talk about how sexy rape is. Oh shit, I can't even say that word. She can. She thinks it's very sexy. She said so. I heard her. Anderson Cooper had to go off to commercial. You remember? This is a crazy lady who has zero proof. In fact, all the proof is against her. It's beyond zero proof. And so since there's no proof, they couldn't prove that Donald Trump did anything because nothing happened. And when Donald Trump said, "I'm innocent," they said, "Fuck you, Donald Trump. You owe us $91 million." If I was perverted in my mind, that would be what I made up. Like, that's made up gibberish. That's like something, it's like, it's non sequitur. It doesn't make any type of sense. However, that's a real headline, and those things really did happen. So after supposedly y'all took $91 million from him, you're going to sue him again for something that it's been proven that he didn't do. You're going to sue him for saying that he was innocent in America. So as we get up out of here, I say these sort of things, and I don't know how anybody, if I say only these things, how could anybody deny we're in a whole lot of trouble? How could it? And so, like, if I mention it to a normie out there, just like you, they'll be like, "Oh, pish posh. It's nothing. This is all regular. This is what we just always do." So, and the days crazy, and I can't just talk to anybody about that. Apparently, all right. So if I talk to them about it, how ridiculous this is, I'm a conspiracy nutball, and everything else like that. So, anyways, I'll holler at y'all a little bit later. It is March the, I don't know, 10, 2020, 2024.